Yo, we are back in Skate, and as everybody is pretty much aware at this point, Season 1 is out, so I thought I'd just do a quick kind of first impressions of what all the new stuff is, how it feels, and everything like that, so let's get into it. So just diving into the map, having a look around, it feels like some of the things that, like the weekly challenges, are still complete. We maybe have some new ones to do around the map. I also noticed over in Brick Switch, we have these. We've got a third currency at this point, which, yeah, it's probably the hallmark of a free-to-play game, that we just end up having a ton of different currencies and it all starts getting really confusing. We also now have the Skate Pass, which we kind of knew was going to be a thing that comes out. And with that, you slowly unlock a bunch of, presumably, kind of not that interesting items, because I'd guess they'd want you to pay for the majority of things. Okay, we've got some shoes. Anything else interesting around here? Stickers, like who's going to be happy about getting those? Some beat up jeans. There may be like one or two interesting items around here, but for the most part, it's not going to be all that exciting, I don't think. Most of it's probably going to be under the premium side from what I can tell. I don't know, you do have some slightly more interesting shoe options here and there, but you're going to be working quite a lot to get to them, for the looks of it. Now going over to the premium side, unlock over 40 additional rewards by purchasing the Skate Premium Pass. Now what does that actually entail? It just says 40 additional things and it's just telling me to spend money. In my case it would be Japanese yen, but yeah, like most things in the store. Okay, so with the Skate Premium Pass, all these things that are marked with a lock are things that you unlock. So with the free version you get these top 4 things, and then with the Premium Pass you get some of the more interesting looking items. So it's pretty much encouraging you to spend money for the most part, I think. Things are fairly expensive, like for this girl bundle, which is a hoodie, board, wheels, and a sticker, it's 1,000, which is what? So it's like 10 bucks, I guess? Some basic items. Yeah, this game is definitely going to be rinsing the shit out of you when it comes to money, but that's kind of to be expected, I think. Actually, the daily and weekly also give you those, the new currency, and then these seasonal ones as well, which lasts 55 days, so what's that, like almost 2 months? Well, let's put that to one side and just skate around and see how it feels. I noticed some people mentioning that they thought it feels better now, or like some of the animations have been... No, well that doesn't feel any better. Oh no, the animations for the most part already felt pretty good. So I'm not entirely sure there's going to be a huge difference. Maybe it's very slight changes here and there that are kind of hard to notice. Weirdly enough, as you can probably tell by me doing this mission, we still have some of the same missions there to do over and over. There's been some slight UI changes from the looks of it. But yeah, we're still likely to be doing the same missions over and over again still. It appears some of the newer missions are marked with that blue tag. I can't remember what they're called. Shit sticks. Whatever. Doesn't really matter, does it? It's a currency in a free-to-play game. So people who really like the missions can probably rejoice, because it appears we have a few new ones. I'll maybe go back to the map and check how many of these are actually new. Also, when I do these missions, my goal is to just get it over with as soon as possible. So it's not going to be anything particularly fancy. Yeah, kind of more or less the same thing. I guess the big question is, people that aren't really into the missions and like getting currency to unlock more clothing and things like that, like what is your motivation? Is it still pretty much just going to be going around the map doing the usual stuff. In that case, I don't know, there's maybe a few different sections like this over here, but again, it's like a crazy, like a theme park type of thing. I noticed Pigeon Thief was mentioning some spots actually look a little bit better, so I was more curious about going to test those out. I also saw him mentioning that some of the spots look a bit more grimy. Like this Softbank? No, that's the telephone company. South Bank. Inspired spot. Actually, yeah, it does have like some junk and stuff everywhere. So at least in some areas of the map, they've taken some effort to kind of change the appearance a little bit. Overall, like graphics style, it's pretty much the same as usual. I don't really feel like there's been a huge difference. He was like pretty positive, kind of praising that it felt like a lot had changed. From my first impression, I'm not really getting that vibe quite so much. Maybe it's just I didn't really pay too much attention to how everything looked previously, to have like a direct comparison. But there are areas that have been kind of improved, and maybe that's something we'll see in the future. Like they'll just keep evolving sections over time as they work on it more. So yeah, I'm curious to see what people's opinions of this are going to be. Because like, there's been a lot of hype over Season 1 coming out. I'm not going to lie, it feels like more of the same, to be honest. The biggest thing that's changed is there's more reasons to spend money. Which is maybe slightly depressing. But what else were we expecting? Okay, looking around this bit, we could definitely see there's been some modifications. I guess this is just a temporary thing as part of this season or whatever. But the fact that the map will evolve over time is probably a good thing. Hopefully some of the core spots remain the same, so you have a bit of that familiarity. If you like, no spot is ever permanent, that may be a bit weird. It looks like this thing goes around the whole... I can't remember what this area is called, but like runs around the whole place. That's kind of nice. So yeah, I'm not trying to be like overly negative about it. It's more just... I was maybe a bit reserved in terms of hype for this, because I presumed it's not going to be a huge difference. And for the most part, I just like session spots and try and find creative areas. So if that's still there, it's pretty much business as usual for me. Yeah, this added section is actually pretty in-depth. Like, it's quite a lot has changed. So that's definitely nice to see. So in terms of the mission types, that's maybe one thing to note. I don't... Okay, I'm screwing this up. Think it's really any different. It's going to be more of the same, just in different areas. A lot of the bigger things that people will want to see are likely going to be a ways off. Spam some grabs. Get some of that over with. This is always what happens with me. It's after you've done it a few times, I'm not really interested in like styling out some of these things. Jesus Christ. Part of me just wants to get it over with, because it's like a job. You log in every day, you do your shift, collect things, wonder why you're doing it. That's why actually, like in my recent videos, you'll notice a lot of the markers are left incomplete, because I just can't be bothered anymore. Especially if the premium items, the paid ones, are where all the kind of interesting stuff is. Does make you wonder why you bother. Okay, let's get some proper speed. Right. So we've earned some shit sticks. We also have the music as well, but in my case, I can't have the music on when I'm doing these videos. So I never actually listen to them, unfortunately. People seem to like the soundtrack. Or don't they? Can't remember. Yeah, I remember Pigeon Thief in his stream. He was like pretty convinced that everything felt better. I haven't really felt a huge difference. I don't know if it's just me, or if he was on a high from it just being a new update or something. What does everybody think? Like, have you noticed any significant differences? Has anything really been fixed since before? I do like this area though. It's pretty like long. Well, it's like they've redone the whole area, which is kind of cool. Get out of the way, please. Again. It's just me spamming stuff to get it over with. I suppose really if you wanted to like get the full enjoyment out of it, you should try and like learn how to style that stuff out. Make it look good each time. Keep it interesting for yourself. But when you've got so many to do in like a day, I don't always feel that motivated to do it. Looks like this bit has changed as well. Like some of the stuff in this little middle part has maybe changed. Like the layout of it. I guess it's just going to be one of those things you're going to have to like go around. And then maybe be minor differences here and there between what you played before and what you play now, and then other areas seem kind of untouched. Yeah, definitely seems like some of these more regular areas are kind of more or less the same. I'm not really noticing a lot of texture changes, like it looking more gritty. But then again, I've already kind of forgot how it used to look anyway. So maybe it's just not significant enough for me to notice. Thinking about it as well, the lighting does seem a little bit different, like it's a bit more golden. It kind of reminds me of that original gold beige haze that was over BMX Streets when it first came out. Yeah, this is definitely a bit more gritty looking. We've got some graffiti and trash everywhere. So it is adding a little bit more life to some of the areas. Some of the more like polished city areas are kind of as is, which probably makes sense. And some of these areas, at least in some parts, does feel a little bit more kind of gritty. Probably your best option for that sort of thing is to be around here. And maybe some areas around here, like in the alleys and things like that. Yeah, we'll end up with a little bit of a session around here, and call it. Felt like I had to get something out quick, just because everybody else was live streaming like immediately, or prior to it coming out. Just like everybody's very much on the ball. They know what they're doing. I've got to milk this at its prime times, I guess. Nice. In terms of what I think about the update, honestly, I'm not like hugely overwhelmed with what happened, but I think that was kind of to be expected. We weren't gonna see anything too major happening with it. But for people who are very much into this right now, it's more content, so that's always a welcome thing. For people who aren't convinced, I'm not sure if it's gonna change your mind right now. You may have to wait a bit longer for other seasons to come out with actual more significant improvements. So yeah, it's kind of more of the same. If that's your thing, then great. If not, you may have to wait a little bit more. And on that note, I think I'll leave it there. I'll go back to sessioning some more spots. Actually, I kind of want to cover this area, also the South Bank section, now that it looks a little bit more gritty. It'll kind of be a nice little spot to session overall, I think. And yeah, plenty more to come. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.